Hey guys, my name is Chandra and welcome to my channel, SeeChanWrite. Today I'm going to give an update on my beta reading process. So this is the second video. So right now we are kind of paused a little bit. And if you want to see what we were up to, just watch the first video, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. So my computer died. It blue screened. I don't have a replacement computer yet. So I'm kind of winging it at this point. I had already sent out my second batch of 3 chapters, so that was already done, and everything, like I said, is stored in Google Docs. So mostly what I can't do right now is a ton of extra writing unless I'm doing it on my phone, which is super painstaking and kind of the worst. Editing my videos, really a lot of editing. It's just not working. It's really difficult to do that from the phone. I do have Grammarly on my phone as well, but splitting up chapters and trying to do all that stuff from the phone just does not work well. So I am currently trying to find a new computer, and I'm also looking at the whole Mac versus Windows thing. I typically have used Windows just because I do like classic games. So I'll usually get something that will run Windows 7, or I can close the OS so that I'm still able to play those games if they're not compatible. So I've been thinking about that a lot, and then also the options of maybe doing some of those things on a Mac. So I don't really know. Things are a hot mess. But I did get my first set of feedback from my beta readers as well. I've gotten, I think, 2 different worksheets back so far. And I've started to see the trends as far as the feedback. Like I said, it's 2 people. So to say trends, but those 2 people agree on certain things. And based on their feedback, I already know something that I definitely need to work on, which is super exciting. And it's also kind of neat to see how they each pick up on some different things, as well as there was one of the threads I read, I believe it was on Reddit, they talked about the in-depth nature of the feedback, or maybe it might have been also Jenna Morossi, because like I said, I watched all of her videos, and I actually created a playlist for all her videos on beta reading. If you would like more feedback or to see what I'm talking about, definitely go check that out. So I noticed like where one of my beta readers was giving a bit like more monosyllabic feedback. That just meant that they didn't have a ton of stuff, but they also, when they did have more feedback, they also wrote more on that. So I didn't take it as them not providing good feedback. I took it as when they have something to say about it, they'll say a lot about it. When it doesn't really register for them, they don't necessarily say as much. But this is just the first round of feedback, right? So I will have to see how that continues to play out, but I'm very excited. The other one that I received back gave a lot of very specific in-depth stuff and a lot of detail, so I'm excited to start looking at that as it compares to the rest of the book. Some of it I do think needs to play out a bit more before I know exactly what to do with the feedback, so that's something that I wasn't really expecting either. I kind of thought that the feedback I would receive would be more like, oh, go do this here. And I'm starting to understand the difference between like editing and beta reading, which would seem very obvious, especially since I've read a lot about it. But also, I think when I first started editing, I was confused about what editing was, or there's like so many different levels of editing. That's a whole nother conversation. So I think I'll maybe circle back and talk about that separately. But I did definitely notice that, maybe this is a better way to say it, the more I've spent time with editing and different processes for editing and different types of editing, the more clarity it's provided around editing as a whole. But now that I've started to work in the actual beta reading process, I'm starting to get a better understanding of not only editing, but what beta readers can and should be providing. So this is, I believe, first time for all of my beta readers. It's the first time for me working with beta readers. So I feel like the research that I've done, the videos that I've watched, and the different groups that I've talked to, even like starting from Reddit, to just like browsing the internet and finding different information about that has been really valuable. It has really changed my perspective on what beta readers can do and why it's so important. I definitely, like, I had skipped this process before, and I'm really glad that I'm now going back and going through it. So that is my update. If you'd like more information, you can also follow me on Patreon. I'll post that somewhere around here, probably in the comment box. So on Patreon, I share some of my poetry. I'm also sharing the research that I'm doing for my current book that I'm writing. Not the one that's being, that I have in beta reading right now. And then I will also share some other really cool stuff, probably do some Q&A and things like that. So thank you to my current Patreons. You guys make the world go round, and I'll talk to you guys later.